So in terms of actual pounds, shillings and pence, what would you say your best year's been? To give people an idea as to...
Financially, the best year was 2005, 2006.
Okay, yes.
But interestingly enough, not far behind it was 2009, 2010. We did 45 units between 2005, 2006, but only 18 units.
18?
In 2009, 2010.
Incredible.
So it just shows you and that was the difference. 2008, 2009 was our worst ever year. We lost lots of money on lots of stuff. Little bits here and everywhere, but it all added up. And we sat on the fence, we sat on our hands for 6 months while the market literally fell. Because the market is, we're traders, so we're seeing it instantly.
Yes.
But agents, they react to it sort of 3 or 4 months after the line, so they're not quite seeing it, but what we're seeing. So we could see this was happening in front of our eyes. But the interesting thing was, at the back end of 2008, we were buying stuff. In fact, I'll give you an example.
Sure.
In 2007, we paid £100,000 for a house in Duncan Road and sold it for £113,000.
Okay.
That was mid-2007. By the end of 2008, we bought a very similar house around the corner in Skinner Street for £60,000. So yeah, that's how quickly they dropped if you was trading.
Incredible.
So the good thing is, back in 2008, people are dumping, they're panicking. So we're buying like crazy then. We started buying like mad, early part of 2009. And then interest rates dropped in our favour to 0.5%. Banks were failing enough. The banks were being bailed out. So people were taking their money out of banks and putting them into a fixed asset.
Very worrying times, wasn't it?
Well, very worrying time. Well, you know firsthand from what that was like. So whilst money was coming out of the banks, it had to go somewhere, and it was going straight in the auction and firming the prices up. So where they went bang, they call it a dead cat bounce. It comes just
dead
cat bounce.
Dead cat bounce.
So
I haven't heard that one.
it's a stock term.
Okay.
And it bounces back up just a little bit, but it was enough to make some good profits. So the stuff we bought in 2008, early 2009, really did reap us some fantastic rewards.
Incredible.
Fantastic rewards.
Incredible. So the next question will be, is it the right time to property trade now?
That's an interesting question.
Bearing in mind what you've just said about 6 months you were on the fence. And in hindsight, Paul, was that the right thing to do?
Yes, it was, yeah.
Definitely the right
Without
thing to do.
Without a shadow of a doubt, yeah. It was hard, it was really difficult.
You were still looking, were you?
Oh yeah,
still looking.
Yeah,
You
weren't
just
we
putting your feet up for 6 months.
No, we were still, in fact we were probably more active then than we was any other time, but we were just looking at stock thinking, no, I'm miles away. Well, we bought some stuff at 50% behind market value around that sort of time.
Wow.
But the interesting thing you say about is it the right time, there's two things at the moment that are issues, right? One, because demographically across the country, the biggest amount of buyers are investors.
Yes.
So there's huge demand for investor stock, and there's a lack of supply.
Right.
Now, that causes another problem for an investor. Besides having lots of competition, it means they're paying more money for it.
Yes.
More people chasing more stock means a higher price. But it gives us an edge. And that edge is, especially what we do, because we trade it and sell it in auction,
Yes.
there's an insatiable appetite for that sort of stock.
Right.
So you can make a flip quite easily.
Okay.
Especially now, I mean, some of the stuff we're buying, we're not paying far off market or asking price. So we might be, say, 5 or 10% behind what the asking price is, knowing full well it's probably undervalued,
Okay.
and we could probably make a flip in the auction because of the demand set. Huge demand.
Wow.
So now's the time to do it.
Because you mentioned you've got one in the Emerson's auction coming up shortly.
Right.
Was that bought sort of at an asking price, Paul? Or
It was on the market for 85 and I paid 77.5.
Right, so it's very, very close then.
Yeah. And we bought another one, which is a better deal. We bought another one in Shrewd, where we paid 75 for it, and that was on the market for 95. So that's a bit further away that one. But that just shows you there are deals out there still to be had at good value, but you can still make a marginal deal work for you.
Interesting.
You can still make a margin. That deal, the one in West Street we've got, it's clean, it's tidy. There's an insatiable appetite for something that's reasonably easy to let. Someone's going to spend sort of £3,000 to £5,000 on it. If they pay 90 grand for it, they're in for 93, 95. It's worth 105, 110. There's still a profit for them.
Yes, yes.
Still a profit, or there's still equity in there. So, yeah, but they're looking at the yields. These people are putting money out of the bank, are looking at the yields as opposed to how much it's worth, what they've paid, and what's the total cost after they've done all the work.
And the property in West Street, was that sourced through the normal channels? That
It was off the open market.
Just off the open market?
I saw it on the open market, inquired about it and bought it.
Wow, wow.
Simple as that.
Fantastic. So I missed that one then.
You did, yes.
I have to work a bit harder, won't I? Absolutely. In terms of where you are now, you're obviously speaking, mentoring. So, where do you see yourself now in terms of trading, speaking, mentoring? Is it an equal sort of split between that, Paul? I mean, can you see yourself mentoring, speaking 100% of your time, or do you see yourself? Where do you see yourself over the next couple of years?
Well, interestingly, I sort of exposed myself a little bit earlier with the sort of person I am. I've got an ego.
Right.
So, in a way, speaking fuels that ego, because obviously you're standing in front of 100 people talking. It's like a performance in a way. So that fuels the ego side of it to a degree. But as you know personally, I've got this driving me to help others.
Yes.
So because of my background, I had a very, people find this a bit odd, but I had a good background for business, because it sort of shook me up at an early age, made me stand on my own 2 feet. I didn't have mummy to look after me, so I was very independent as a child, and that gave me the edge in business, because I haven't then got to rely on anybody else. But I see the challenges that people have nowadays, because most of their challenges are driven by their emotions somewhere along the line, whether it be fear of rejection, fear of failure,
yes,
you know,
sure.
all these sort of things that come into it. And people do find it a struggle to get from here to here.
Yes, very much so.
Because of their emotions. And I can help them with that. But the interesting thing is, even though our numbers are down generally because I'm speaking, I do appreciate that any new business, this is the development stage of this business. I mean, I've only been doing it since March of last year, 2010. So it's 15, 16 months.
Sure.
So it's still a fledgling side of the business. It's still in its development stage. But it's feeding the development side, the trading side, because people are offering us transactions as we go along. We're getting opportunities there, and they'll get that will grow as the business grows. So it's going to be really feeding the trading side, and the training and mentoring side will just grow and grow and grow. And I do see it as an integral part of the business long term.
That's tremendous, actually, isn't it? Because you're helping people, and also you're trading, so you're achieving your actual goal, which is superb. Yeah, superb, excellent.